Hello future tech leaders, I'm Sindhuja. Based on my own experience, I know that learning the right skills can shape our future. What if I say learning was as thrilled as the tech world itself? There we go. A cloud foundation, that's exactly what you will experience. From day one, you will be immersed in the interactive sessions and expert-led courses that covers most of the widely used technologies in the zone of data science to cloud computing, which brings more light to the life of a techie. I'm so excited to help you and unlock the true potential of a technology. Well, then why to wait? Let's see what it unfolds.
You tried to do the assignment, the business structure one. Yes, I think the only thing I need to make sure I do the manager access. A reference to, that's the only thing I have pending. I think I did everything else and I have questions. Go ahead. We have few minutes to figure that out or to answer that. Please. Before that I just wanted to give you one thing. Every configuration, whatever you will do. Just mention DJ. Before that you are the initials of your name. That if by chance you wanted me to check, I can check later on. Whether it's configured properly or not. And while creating, I assume that you might have gone through the document for business structure and taken like with the help of that. Maybe I'm just asking. If you get or if you got stuck somewhere in creation part, configuration part, the document would have helped you. I went through it. I went through a course based on our class and then I did get stuck, confused. I don't say stuck. I was confused on but after I went through the document, I figured out in reference to the types. Pretty much. You had the types already set up in reference to company, business unit site, etc. I didn't need to really do that. I just needed to get to the locations and start from there and build my structure. After I figured that part out, I think I was sailing along because I was a little confused there at first. I was like, I'm not quite sure. I know I'm supposed to start here, but of course we kind of just went to labor level. We did discuss it, but I didn't get. Obviously, I wasn't clear on that because I had to go back and revisit it, but I think I'm now. No, that's good. Day-to-day life, like whenever you get a chance to do work in an organization, the business structure would always be present. The way you find it out, this is already there. I need to start from this part that in a kind of a real-time scenario we face. And we might have failed because now we already know from where we start. But in real time, when you start doing the things, few things will already be there. And you need to understand those things. The way you understand, the type is already there. And using those types, we can create the things. The labor levels is already, you might have seen there would be 6. That is the maximum capacity for the labor level. From that point, you extract things, you understand those things and go ahead and create the remaining part of the configuration. That's the main thing which we need to know. How to extract the details which we need in order to step forward for the configuration. Are you saying pretty much with Kronos, they'll have it pre-configured in reference to the standard of what is normally there, like company region or whatever? Usually they follow that fashion, the form of the implementation. But let's say if I'm going to a new company, whenever I go to that company, the project will already be deployed and will be in the production or live application. It's very rare that we get a chance to work from scratch because UKG takes care for 1 year with the dimension. During that 1 year of time period, they do things whichever is required. I assume that it's very rare to get the opportunity to do everything from scratch. Specifically for the business structure, because that's the most important thing and might be UKG. That's just the basic, very first step. I'll say, you get the companies, I can do the system. That is already being done by the UKG during that process. During the upgradation or whenever some new company or new clients comes into picture and they buy the UKG Kronos products. But few things going forward, you need to add what are those things that would be mostly for the location, the hierarchy, the way you add it. I assume you, as you said, you added few things in the location, the hierarchy, the tree which you made. That is the thing which we normally do on a day-to-day life. Whenever the company is going to, let's say it's a supermarket. If a company is going to start a new store at XYZ location, correct? We need to add that details into the hierarchy, the business structure. That's what you did. You started to create a new one. Correct. But sometimes it may happen that we cannot. In real-time scenario, you will see only one parent or root thing, root company, and going forward you will see different things or different branches for that particular tree. There won't be a mess like that. There won't be any other tree. There will always be one, and yes, there will be one more, which usually is for the test purpose. That you can see in real-time scenario. Now, a few things you already know. They're in the jobs. You might have seen a number which we need to figure it out or we need to mention like 10, 20, 100, 200, something like that. Did you notice that number? I did add those in. I put them in the sequence of 10. Yes, it's not necessary that we put that sequence of 10. We can do with the sequencer a gap of 50, 100, whatever your client wants to proceed from. Different companies will have different sequence. Now the concern is why they give those gaps. A sequence of 10. It should be in a normal sequence 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, but instead of that they use 1, 10, 20, a ton, 50, 100, 150, 200. Correct. Now the reason behind that structure or the sequences, the thing which will have number 1 will have the more priority than other jobs. It's a kind of a rank which we give to them. Now, let's assume due to some reason, let's say for a particular office, we do have a department manager, let's say a project manager. And normally what happens at a flow, there would be 2, 3 projects going on. 2, 3 different teams would be coming up, sitting over there and doing the project work. Let's assume there are 3 projects the way we learn Microsoft, Apple and Google. There are 3 projects. Every project will have the project manager. And there would be one more manager for the whole center manager. Let's say the whole office manager. We can say, now going forward, in the configuration part, we gave more priority to the office manager because that particular manager is responsible for all the flows project in that building. He is having a sequence of 10. Let's say sequence number as 10, whereas the project manager has a sequence of 20, correct? Now what was happening? Let's suppose each floor has 3 projects and there are 10 floors. That makes us 30 projects. Correct. Now the office manager needs to interact with all these 30 managers in order to grab those details, what is happening with these projects, and then they will wrap up these things and deliver to the senior. Correct. This is becoming very tedious, and there would be large number of 30 members is very large in order to grab those things. Let's say 5 years down the line or after 5 years, the company thinks like it's very difficult for a single office manager to grab those information and share it with us, or to update the seniors or get accounted. What they did? They introduced one more job known as floor manager, floor project manager. There would be a manager who will take care of all the projects in that floor. First floor, second floor, third floor, fifth floor, 10th floor, every single floor have their own managers. Now all the 3 projects manager will report to that manager. The floor project manager and the floor project manager will summarize those things and report to the office manager or building manager or something we can see. Now the office manager has 10 and if you put 11 to the project manager, how we will fit that department manager between them if we don't put some gap? If it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In future, if client wants to add some job which has higher priority to some other jobs, how is it possible to put? In order to rectify those, usually UKG asks them to have some gap between the jobs. Wherever you will see the sequence wise, we do keep the gaps because we want something to be added with the higher priority of something and less priority to something else. Now, in this scenario, we would have gone with a simple solution. Let's say we'll add 10 as an office manager, 20 as a project manager, and in between I'll say 15. Sequence number 15, I'll add to the floor project manager. The floor project manager has the higher priority with the project manager and lower priority with the office manager. This is how we create this sequence of jobs, or wherever you see those things. The sequence is important. The main function is that in future, if they want to add something with a higher priority of XYZ items and with the lesser priority with A, B, C element, we put the number in between both of them. In other words, if we have just say a PMO, you have the PMO, and then below that we leave the gaps in there. It's just say we want to have someone hire additional person. That's not, of course, not the PMO. They're going to be a project manager, maybe a senior project manager. We leave that gap. We can add that job in between that. And you'll still have an applicable amount of space to include them into the project manager at a lower level. Is that what we're doing? That's why the number is there in the system. These are the 2 important things I wanted to share with you. And finally, do not forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel.